Hello, class. This is a brief grammar review. I wanted to add a few additional items to the Chapter 3 review. These are some things in general I find people have trouble with whenever they're writing. Now, first of all, there are, of course, many verb tenses, primary and secondary. The main ones will be present, past, and future, and each of those can have simple, perfect, and progressive forms. Now, the present perfect links the present and the past. The time of action is before, now, but it isn't specified exactly when. So, for example, if you're doing an interview with someone and you say they have lived somewhere since a certain time, that would be a time of action that is not specific, but you know, you have a general sense of time. So I have lived in Lafayette since 2011 implies that you still do live in Lafayette. Now, present perfect also has an action performed during a period continuing in the present. Again, she has been to the movies twice this week, means the week is not yet over. She can still go to the movies again. A repeated action in an unspecified period between the past and now. We have visited Portugal several times. Now, in the second example, this is the type of information where you would want to specify. I visited Portugal in September of 2018. That would be a specific time. Present perfect versus simple past. Use the simple past when giving details such as when, where, or who. Now, here's a little comparison for you. I have lived in Lyon. I lived in Lyon in 1989. So simple past is specifying the year you lived in Lyon. Or they ate Thai food last night, not they have eaten Thai food. Well, I'm sure quite a number of people have eaten Thai food, but it's very different to say it happened at some point versus I ate it in this specific time. The majority of the time, you want to stick to the simple past. The present perfect tends to be a little too vague for news writing or PR writing, any of those things. You want it to be more concrete. So, in general, remember simple past is going to be the majority of the time the better choice. Articles modify nouns. Now, the three articles are a, an, and the. The is a definite article, and a and an are indefinite articles. If I say let's read the book, I mean a specific book, or if it's a book, it can be any book. And usually you'll see this with a prepositional phrase after, like the book on sailing. And I mean a specific book on sailing. The article the is, again, specific, people, places, items. It can be groups of people as well, the Italians, the diner. So specific items, the car. The articles a and an are less specific. You would use a if it's a singular noun beginning with a consonant like boy, or a noun beginning with a consonant sound. So in the case of user, even though user is written with a vowel, the sound it makes is this U sound, which is considered a consonant sound. So it would be a user, not an user. And the same a university. Or in nouns starting with a pronounced H, you'll have the letter A. So horse. But in Nouns starting with a silent H, like hour, it would be an hour, because this is a silent H. You're starting with the vowel sound after it. And also, an would be used at the beginning, right before a singular noun with a vowel. An elephant, an egg, an apple. All of those start with an. Now, another major point is testing for sentence completeness. When you write sentences, you need to make sure that they are not fragments or run-ons. Both of those can be really big problems and make your writing look very sloppy, like you didn't review anything, which also makes your facts seem suspect as well. So, when you're testing for sentence completeness, check, is there a verb? Is there a subject? Sometimes a subject can be understood, as in declarative sentences. If you tell someone go, there is an understood you before that go. So you go, but you're actually telling someone go. And also, is the word group merely a subordinate clause or phrase? This would be, a lot of times you'll see them, a subordinate clause at the start of a sentence, since blah, 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 and then you would continue with the rest of the sentence. Or despite a 10% increase, the school is still performing well. That would be an example of a sentence fragment where you need to have a continuation of the thought afterward. All right, recognizing run-on sentences. So the other really big deal with sentence structure, make sure that if you do have two independent clauses, they are joined by a comma and a coordinating conjunction. So any of these coordinating conjunctions, or you are combining them using a semicolon, a colon, or a dash. And you need, if none of these are met, then you need to revise it because it is a fused sentence or a comma splice. Apostrophes use them only for possessive nouns ending in S. So, for example, the Smith's dog, last name is Smith's with an S, and you would do S apostrophe. If you're talking about the last name Smith without an S on the end, it would be apostrophe S, dog. Or if you're discussing plural girls, it would be girls S apostrophe toys. Several girls own several toys. If you do apostrophe S toys, so girl apostrophe S toys is one girl with several toys. The words farther and further. Farther refers to a physical distance. He walked farther into the woods. Further refers to an extension of time or a degree. She will look further into the mystery. They used to be more interchangeable, but generally speaking now the more correct version would be to use farther for distance and further when you're extending into time or furthering a degree of something that you're describing. Pronoun references. Clear pronoun references are very, very important, especially when you have multiple she's or he's involved in a story. One of the best ways you can do it is by, instead of saying they or he or him, use the name of the organization or the person. And also, you can avoid some kind of awkward wording by starting with the actual word. So in this second example, the encyclopedia states that male moths can smell female moths instead of it states. Now, you obviously do not have to buy any of these. This is for your own information. If you're having issues understanding some of these topics or dealing with something, review outside resources. These books are older editions. I know they have much newer ones now, but use a writer's reference. It has really great information in it that'll help you with sentence structure and writing, especially if you need to write any sort of research papers. And it'll review any of the guidelines you may use as well. Of course, use the APA website too. They have a ton of information. The Elements of Grammar is a really great book to help you understand nouns and pronouns and different tenses and how to develop and improve your structure. And of course, the Elements of Style. This is a really big resource for anyone working with the news media. It'll help you tighten your writing and understand why certain sentences sound so much better than others. So if you want to and are able, go ahead, review some of these other resources, and I strongly recommend it. Obviously, again, this is not a requirement, but I get a lot of my information from these and I find them extremely helpful.